this next story you're going to go in on, Kennelia, has to do with women and more of a positive note in the industry, correct?
Yes, for our viewers with children. Thomas the Train, and Rob can probably speak to this. There's a show. There's a show
I'm your
and a
resident
character.
Thomas expert.
Yeah, the kid expert here that has been going on for some time. Thomas the Tank Engine. Now, the Thomas and Friends TV series will be adding 2 female trains, Nia and Rebecca. They'll come in to kind of beef up the cast and make things a little more equal in regards to the male and female balance. One cute thing about it is that Nia is a train who is from Kenya, so they're gonna she'll debut in the big world.
Woman.
She's a diverse, and not only is she from Kenya, that they decorated her train with a specific African pattern. It's gonna run across her body, so they did a lot of research to make sure that it was accurate. And Nia will be not only a woman, but she will be a diverse woman of color.
And this just in, she's to the left of Thomas right here.
You see her?
See a little, and you can tell because her little eyelash,
she has like
a little eyelash
like
coming out.
Yeah.
That's how you can determine.
Just the wing, like she has the wing. And you can see the kente cloth on her train. And then Rebecca is also going to be there, and now the new season, they're going to go to different countries. It's going to be like a more interactive show. So I kind of jotted down some things. Oh, there's Nia. That's Nia.
Is she?
Look, she's beautiful. And then they put the Kenyan animals around her with the giraffe.
They went all in.
They went all in.
Who is this safari man here to the bottom
Rob,
left?
do you watch this? Who's that guy?
I don't.
Who's that man?
Know, but that would have to be the clumsy, inept British explorer that always ends up in Africa for some reason. That character has been portrayed many, many times, so he's obviously terrified, but maybe Nia can take him through.
To school him a little bit. So some more changes.
That's
Again,
awesome.
they're going to have 2 women characters. Thomas will visit real country for the first time. The animation will move at a faster pace. There's a new theme song, and the characters will crack more jokes. Also, the narrator is going to be gone, and they're going to replace him by the voice of Thomas. So switching it up, maybe to keep up with other cartoons, because when you watch, again, I have a nephew, and he watches like Paw Patrol and Jake and the Neverland Pirates and stuff like that. Those cartoons are a little jazzier than Thomas.
Well, Thomas the Train has been around for so long.
He's an older guy.
Really quick, I want to do a quick research here on how long he's been around, but the fact of the matter is the fact that they're reinventing.
The answer is forever.
Forever.
It's been around
Since
forever.
you were a kid, do you remember being into trains and Thomas the Train?
I never was, but my little brother, who's in college now, that's crazy. So he was all into Thomas. And what's interesting about this is, look, it just happened this way. People tended to, when little boys got to this age, they would start giving them Thomas the Tank Engine stuff, and then girls would get different kinds of gifts, maybe dolls or Barbies, and they just kind of got genderized. Here's what's interesting about all that. Go to the train museum here in Sacramento.
Oh, so
all
good.
kids love Thomas the Tank Engine, boys and girls, and a pretty diverse age range. They're all upstairs. They've got all these tables set up, and they're all playing with trains. I mean, you take kids to the train museum, they will not be as interested in the history of how they built the railroad over the Sierra, but they're going to be way into the little toy trains up on the 2nd floor. That's where all the kids are. So this is something that's been happening anyway, so I think that they're just reflecting that, hey, we need to get on board, make sure that everyone's represented, because kids of all ages, little boys and little girls, all races, they just love trains and they love the whole story, and so now they're finally wising up to that.
And I think
it's a good story.
Fun. Like when I was a kid, my dad was a young dad, and my dad did a lot of stuff with us. But he bought us toys that were for boys, like traditionally. So he bought he bought me a race car track. What was the one? What was the power?
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels race car track. We had like one of those Fisher Price pool table / air hockey table / ping pong thing.
On it.
So I grew up playing with boy toys. I had a wrestling buddy. So I grew up playing with traditionally boy stuff, but to me it was just stuff that I wanted to play with, or that he wanted me to play with. So the fact that we're now trying to incorporate girls into Thomas the Train's world and to kind of say, hey, you can play with trains too. It's okay. Like, it's fine. They're for everybody. I really like that.
And this comes on the heels of the Cub Scouts, right? Allowing little girls now to be part of it. So we are of a generation where it's this respect for women is at an all-time high, which has been a long time coming. You want to talk about feminism and feminists. It's all just about wanting the equality of men and women, and these are examples of ways in which we're getting there.
Now, let me tell you one negative thing about all this. Okay. You know I'm going to bring the negative.
Which we like, different perspectives.
If they're changing the pace of this, I have a problem with that, because let me tell you something.
Are you talking about Thomas?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Friends?
If the kids are watching cartoons, I like the old school ones that are slow, and a lot of the British ones. There's another one called Tech. It's like this toy, like a truck or something, and it like slowly goes through the British countryside. That's my style, because it calms the kids down. They're kind of into it. They're kind of watching. So it's at this pace where maybe they're learning a little bit. They can identify when they're really little. They'll learn about horses and ducks and things like that. So I can keep up with it. Then you switch over a couple channels for the shows for the older kids. I can't handle it. I can't. I mean, like Powerpuff Girls. Are you kidding me? It's insane. There's all this flashing. I'm like this. I'm like I can't. This is way too much. And then, of course, my daughter's like, yeah, more. And I'm like, no, this is a problem. We're going to back it up. Anything made in the 80s, low budget, from the UK, that's what I'm into.
Right.
Somebody, Bill hashtag producibility, hashtag Rob overwhelmed.
Powerpuff Girls.
Kimberly Morgan
Lincoln's bouncing off the walls after.
No, like
Kimberly
PJ Masks and that stuff. Oh my gosh, it's like way too fast paced.
Paw Patrol, all of them are, they're turned up.
There's a rescue going on. They're getting ready for like 10 minutes. They're like getting in all their their equipment. I'm like, I can't handle this.
Really quick, because I said I did the research. The first series of 26 stories, I'm talking about Thomas and Friends, premiered in October, so this month, of 1984 on the ITV network in the UK.
84, so Thomas is 33.
Ringo Starr, former Beatles Ringo Starr, as a storyteller.
Okay, I didn't.
Thomas is a millennial. It's Thomas. He's 33. He's a millennial.
But it's funny. Like I'm glad that they're going to other countries too, because everything was very like British centric. They're going down to the paddock to get some coal, and then head up, head up to the Highlands and like all this kind of stuff. That's just very UK specific. Yeah. So I think other people want to see what these characters would do in their part of the world.
Tech the Tractor, Kimberly says, and she says, my girls love trains. I want them to get a huge train set with regulars at the hobby store, and they're drawn to the train set. So, girls and guys can get in on
gender neutral. These again, it's the era of all of this, and it's more socially accepted, which, in my eyes, as a millennial, is a beautiful thing. As a non-millennial, is this a beautiful thing?
Well, I separated myself from the millennials. I have adopted that new generation that they created like 2 months ago. It was called something. I don't know what it was called.
In-betweens or something.
Right, but that's me.
Oregon Trail generation.
Exactly. Oregon Trail, where your cart breaks down, you got to fix the tire and dodge famine. So that was for me, exactly.
Spend way too much time hunting the deer, and then you get dysentery.
Then you get, and then you die.
I never played it.
What?
I was right after you guys. I'm telling you, I never played it.
Megan has never seen a floppy disk. Megan, have you ever seen a floppy disk?
Yes, I've seen the floppy disk, yes, and I had dial up.
Well, floppy disk was before dial up.
Yeah, but I do remember, I didn't necessarily, for school projects, I didn't use the floppy, but my brother did, my older brother, and mom and dad. I remember that. They were color-coded.
No.
They had some colors on the top of them, like green,
maybe
orange.
That's some jazzy ones.
Oh,
hey,
comments
are live. Feel free.
Give Megan
Feel free to chime in.
Floppy disk.
Wait, I'm going to Google it real quick to make sure the colors are there. Anyone else leaving comments?
Yeah, Andrea English. Both my children, girl and boy, love the Train Museum in Sacramento. It's always a great time. David Wong posted 80s low-tech and British Rob, so there's a link for you there.
There we go.
And then Kimberly said, I can't stand SpongeBob. Ooh. Can we
SpongeBob is square
intense. They try and throw in a lot of jokes for adults, which I appreciate, which is good. But it's a little intense.
It is very intense.
Yeah.
And
just James says Tech is her son's favorite character as well.
Yeah, see, it's a tractor in the British countryside.
No. See, the Oregon Trail discs they were soft. They were floppier.
Soft.
The 5-inch floppy.
This is the floppy
That's
I know.
the hard.
Oh my, so you don't know the old school floppy.
Yeah,
that was actually floppy.
Is that's why it's called floppy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is incredible.
Megan.
We might even have one of these in the
This
building.
is a floppy disk.
You've never seen.
I don't. Maybe I have. Maybe I have.
This
Yeah,
is
this
a floppy
kind right
disk.
here.
That's the floppy disk.
I've never
And
seen
it was
that.
floppy.
It was like,
How
like
did it
floppy.
go in the computer?
You just slide it into the little floppy disk
Oh yeah,
slot.
but
Did it,
remember this
like-
part? You slide it in, but you're not quite sure it's in all the way, and then the little secure latch. Yeah.
Oh, this
boom.
is
Then it's
before
like,
my
okay, here we
time.
go. Time to boot up.
floppy disk.
This is incredible. This is
I,
incredible.
I don't know that floppy disk. That's so large.
Megan,
Yeah.
do you remember AOL chat rooms?
Yes, little brownie
Megan was
waffle.
cool
Yes,
with the chat room
I knew that. Which, by the way, didn't they just shut that down?
They did shut down AOL.
They said
Mm-hmm.
after how
good
many
riddance.
years?
Like, people still in the chat room?
And that was the other comment. AOL Instant Messenger was still around. Like that's why we have the Facebook
That was
chat
one of the
now
deal
and
breakers
everything.
for Cornelia. Hey, here's
Just
my
last
AIM
week,
name.
it
And
just shut
Cornelia's like,
down.
that's good.
End of an era. That's like when TRL shut down. I was like, wait, what?
I know.
End of an era. Although it's back now. Anyways, that's MTV. Thank you for joining us here on Extra Shot on ABC 10 TV's Facebook Live. I'm gonna go try to see if we have those floppy disks. I never knew.
Carlos did chime in. He said, I think Megan is talking about diskettes.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
different from floppies. Exactly, Carlos.
Really?
Diskettes.
Oh, sorry. Have a good night.